John Chedini. I think many of you associate John with NEPAnode. And I hope you've read the articles that we've written in Lessons Learned Quarterly Report about NEPAnode, and that has inspired you to look into it a little deeper and give it a try. So, John, you're on.
Thanks, Carol. So I did want to just give a brief update of some of the more recent content, NEPA-specific content on site that's available, as well as give a little bit of a prelude to where we're hoping to go with the site. So a current status of the content that's currently available, there's over 280 national data sets that are arranged by covering all types of categories, everything from tribal historic to land use. Really, we try to make every best available data, most current available data, available for you to use in your projects. Along those lines, too, we've created 80 maps. Those are kind of thematic maps. I'll go into a little bit more of a use case specifically, but I did want to, these are all links as well. So when you download this after the meeting, you can use those links. And we have a Word document that we've made it easy for you to just reference to see if there's data that may be useful for your project, as well as we've prepared a number of different training materials and resources, including a video series, as well as some introductory handouts. So as far as the, not really showing up right now, but this is a map that we've created displaying all of the DOE's active environmental impact statements. So this map has a point that correlates to the project, and you can, members of the public or you yourselves can use an identify feature and click on any of those, and it will return you information about the project as well as a link to our website where you can find the documents that are associated with that project. Also, for each project, because a point doesn't represent the full distribution or full context of a project, we use our map worker tool, which takes, we took the overview map from the documents and made those available for actually reference too, so you can actually click on those and see the full extent of the project. If there are any questions or concerns about the maps we've used, please email me and we can swap them out. We've also done the same thing for our active environmental assessments, and this correlates to our active status chart that we update monthly, and as in line with that, we will also be updating the maps. More recently, we've been working in interagency to take EPA's EIS database and what's called geocoding it, or associating the features in the title to an actual location, and working this for interagency review as well. And this goes back to 1994. It's about 4,000 historic environmental impact statements that can be useful if you're looking at a project and want to know what other documents have been associated with that in that area, or what agencies have a lot of equities in that area as well. So I'm also involved in this infrastructure executive order, the President's implementation to improve permitting review around federal infrastructure projects, and under that, leading an effort for data and IT improvements. The first step to that we've identified is creating a navigation tool that will list all of the federal permits or reviews that may be required for an infrastructure project. And what we've done is we've taken basically the jurisdiction for those and represented them geographically. So for 404 wetlands, we would use the Army Corps of Engineers distribution. For what you're seeing here in the orange is actually a combination of tribal land combined with states. So this is for getting in contact with state historic preservation officers and tribal historic preservation officers. And as we speak, agencies are actually providing us spreadsheets back for links to these websites, as well as some agency overview information. So at the end of this process, you'll be able to click the permits or reviews that are applicable to your project, or you might not be sure of. Click on your project location and actually get links back to navigate to those offices. In line with that, and as so we're creating a map for each individual layer that was shown on that, and each of those maps will house kind of the best available relevant data to help you inform, maybe even help you determine whether or not those permits or reviews may be applicable, as well as including things like a list of regulations and permits and reviews. We have an example mock-up that uses cultural, historic, and tribal as an example, but maps have been prepared or in draft for all of these other permits and reviews. Also, related to another project that we've been doing here in GC54 is archive, what we're calling the archive scanning project, and that was consisting of taking documents that did not have electronic versions, historical environmental impact statements, and scanning them and going through a process to make them machine readable. As part of that process, what we've done is use our map worker tool, which allows you to take basically an image of a map from each of those documents and lets you do the referencing in the web browser to accurately display those on the map. As a result, we've been adding the links to the project page for each of those. So right now we have every environmental impact statement uploaded from 0001 to where we are today. And as well as we've included our best attempt at kind of a general framing or tagging for topics so that you can navigate by keyword, topics, and find all the related environmental impact statements. Once all of those maps are geo-referenced, they can also be searched by location, so you can then zoom into your project area and find all of our past environmental impact statements. And in the bottom right, you show an example of that the screen on the left dynamically filtered based on what you're viewing, and you can click on them and see the full extent of those projects, as well as you can search by open string. And I covered the fact that this too also will help you navigate to the project pages on our website, which will list all the documents that we have available. Part of the archive scanning project, we're working on uploading all of those, about 120 or so environmental impact statements. So moving forward, I finished where we are today and some of the content that's available on the site. Please check it out. Use that Word document as a way to just glean what data is available to help inform your projects. But moving forward, we're kind of moving beyond communication to collaboration, and I wanted to explain a little bit about that. But first, just to note, we're going to be using new software based on software we've already been using, and this is the culmination of a $2 million two-year investment by Army Corps of Engineers into customizing the software. And I'll show you a little bit more of the features, but you can also view the video series. So what do we mean by communication to collaboration? So right now, when we talk about maps, we're talking about communication. You know, that they're a very helpful tool to communicating things that might be complex in nature, to provide kind of spatial or social context to an area, to display the project areas alternatives, and to display resource areas in relation to those. But what we're talking about is collaboration, which is a two-way process. So the system will now support you, the project managers, being able to provide access to others and actually use the map interface as a collaboration tool and not just limit yourself to passing documents back and forth to communicate and coordinate with different agencies and stakeholders. So as I alluded to, we'll be adding a new feature, which is what we're calling a project workspace. You can think of it as an enclave. This will allow project teams to manage who and whoever and whatever data about the project, so alternative sites or monitoring information, you name it, or whatever you can think of. And this allows you and your programs and your teams specifically to manage the data. We've kind of stepped back and let you manage who you provide access to, what level of access you provide to them. This will be the site, you know, it will be available for planning and pre-decisional draft documents. So if there's concerns about sharing information, then you can just limit it to your direct, you know, NEPA document managers, NCOs, and contract staff as well to develop that. So what do we mean? So the actual tool to collaboration is this new interface that the Army Corps of Engineers has invested in. And what it basically is track changes for geospatial information. So you have an entire history of who changed what, when, where, and what did they change. So if you have your project information, you can manage the workflow of that, and you can revert back, you can accept, reject, modify, you name it. So it really does allow for kind of collaboration with record keeping. And that includes kind of editing attributes associated with those geospatial features, and that could be points, lines, or polygons. And that means creating or modifying them too. As well, for those that are not probably more geospatial savvy or don't like that view, you can also use a table view to edit and find attributes and search for those as well. And you can edit information just as if you were using a spreadsheet to collaborate. And also this will enforce simultaneous editing, so it will allow you to manage kind of conflicts if multiple people are editing the same information. Just to recap the groups, so groups could be at any level. It could be department, program, project, topic area. Really, users can sign up and create their own groups and assign what level, whether or not they're private, public with invite only, or public and open to join. And this is a permissions view, which is available for all the layers, maps, and documents. So you would see the standard interface, and it would allow you to say who can view, edit, download, who can manage this data. And you can change this at any time, so as your project fluctuates, maybe go up to public comment period, you can drop or change those permissions at any time. And one other perk of the Army Corps' tool is an Android mobile application that will allow you to download an area of interest, disconnect completely, go offline, and be able to edit information. So you can think of this as maybe remote monitoring or site investigation, field surveying. You can download information and then re-upload it, and may find an interesting use case for that too. That's